Vande Mataram children. I, Mr. Basavaraj Nipani, welcome you all to Sir Kalam Tutorial YouTube education channel. Dear guys, as you all know in my previous video, I have started the discussion of second chapter of Democratic Politics 2, that is Federalism, in which we have already discussed about the introduction of the lesson, meaning of federalism and the important features of federalism in part first. Today let us begin part 2, in which we are going to discuss about one more important topic of this lesson, that is what makes India a federal country, and we shall also learn about the history of Indian federalism. Before we begin this topic, let us once again recall and remember the story of Belgium and Sri Lanka, as we have discussed in the previous classes. Having studied the story of Belgium and Sri Lanka, we came to know that the leaders of Belgium and Sri Lanka had faced a lot of challenges and obstacles to accommodate social diversity in their country. Belgian leaders amended their constitution for 4 times, and instead of sharing power, the Sri Lankan leaders adopted some majoritarian measures and established Sinhala supremacy, and finally they adopted majoritarianism government in their country. Though they were being small countries, they faced all these kinds of challenges and obstacles. Then let us just imagine what would be the condition of our country. Because as you all know, India is one of the largest countries of the world today, in which we can find many religions, many languages, many regions, and people belonging to different castes, creeds, and many other aspects. Then how Indian leaders adopted federalism system? How Indian leaders made India as a federal country? That can be discussed in today's class. So let us get back to the history of our Indian independence. As you all know, India became an independent country in the year 1947, soon after the collapse of British rule, soon after the collapse of colonial rule. India became independent nation. But this was not a royal gift. This was not a royal gift. India separated into 2 different domains, such as Pakistan and India. This is called a bloody partition or a painful partition, because the political scenario of our country and the geographical scenario of our country was not like this as it is presently today. It was totally different. There were 584 princely states in India before 1947, and India was divided into 17 different provinces. Before independence, India was divided into 17 different provinces, such as Madras province, Mumbai or Bombay province, Mysore province, Hyderabad province, and the list goes on. At the time of independence, there were 17 different provinces. Out of these, 3 different provinces included into the domain of Pakistan, such as Sindh, Balochistan, and Northwest Frontier. So, why this had happened? Because the British people had given the power to princely states and provinces to decide whether they should include Pakistan Union or Indian Union. So this led to a lot of communal violence, uprisings, movements, and many of the Indians lost their lives, and many of the people of Pakistan also lost lives. This led to a lot of communal violence. Because of this reason, our Indian leaders faced a lot of challenges and difficulties to accommodate all these states, princely states and provinces as Indian Union. So however we managed to get success, and however Indian leaders managed to reunite India. And immediately after the independence, Indian leaders adopted a new constitution which came into force in the year 1950. I hope you all know about that. And our constitution clearly prescribes that the Constitution of India declared that India is a union of states. Although it is mentioned in the constitution did not call it as a federation. The constitution did not call it as a federation. The constitution of our country called it as an Indian Union or Indian Union of States. And the constitution also prescribes that India must be administered into 2 different levels. This is clearly laid down in the Indian Constitution. Constitution provides provisions to administer India into 2 different levels, such as union government and state government, as we have discussed in the previous topic. So this is clearly prescribed by Indian Constitution only. The government for entire country, that is union government. Why it is called a union government? Because India is a union of states which looks after the entire country, that is union government. And to give powers and provisions to each states which were called provinces before, there is a state government, that is second tier of government. This is introduced by Indian Constitution. Later on, in the year 1992, Indian leaders added one more tier to Indian Federation, that is local government or the government of community. In Belgium it is called community government. So this is also known as municipality government, panchayat government or corporation government. It will be named into different names. So here each tier of government has its own power and privilege, and they have their own jurisdiction. They have their own judicial power, which is provided by the constitution of our country. So here in Constitution it is called threefold distribution of legislative power. It is called threefold distribution of legislative power. What powers must be enjoyed by union government? What are the powers of state government? And what are the powers of local government? These all powers and functions are clearly laid down in the Indian Constitution in the threefold distribution of legislative power, which includes three lists such as union list, state list and concurrent list. Now let us glance over first one, that is union list. The union list contains subjects such as banking, currency, communication, defense of the country and foreign affairs. So these subjects relates to national importance. Union list contains subjects to national importance such as defense of the country, foreign affairs, currency, communication and many other subjects. And the union government has the power to make laws on these various subjects. And let us see the second list, that is state list. Here the state list includes subjects which relates to local interest such as commerce, trade, agriculture, irrigation. Right? The state list includes subjects such as police, commerce, trade, agriculture and irrigation. And here the state governments have the power to make laws on these kinds of various subjects. And there are some of the other general subjects which do not include into union list and state list. To see all such subjects, we have one more list which relates to the common interest of both union government as well as state government. That is what we call as concurrent list. Then concurrent list includes subjects such as forest, trade unions, marriages, education, adoption and succession. These are the important subjects which relates to common interest of both union government as well as state government. And the laws are made by both union government and state government on these various subjects. And when these laws made by both the governments leads to conflict sometime, or if they create issues, then finally the law which is made by the union government is finalized. I hope you are getting my point. Both the governments have the power to make laws on these various subjects such as forest, education, marriage, trade unions and many other subjects. Both the governments can make laws on these subjects, but sometimes these laws made by both the governments leads to conflicts, quarrels and disputes between both the levels of government. Then how it will be solved? The Constitution says that, the Constitution prescribes that finally the law made by the union government will be accepted by each and every single state. That must be accepted by each and every single state. This is what we see in concurrent list. Now let us discuss about some of the other general subjects which came after the adoption of Indian Constitution. They are called new subjects such as computer software and information technology. In which list these subjects comes? So these subjects comes in not any other list, in not in union list or state list or concurrent list. So the subject relates to computer software, information technology, and the laws are made by the Indian Constitution, because Indian Constitution clearly prescribes that any new subjects includes in any list, the laws must be made by Union government only. That power is given to Union government according to Indian Constitution. By discussing these all kinds of lists and the powers said among different levels of the government, we came to know that the federations who are made by holding together federation, equally they do not share the power among different levels or other constituent units. The countries which adopted holding together federation have not equally shared their power to their constituent units, such as the second level of the government or the third level of the government. Because if you take the example of a country, in India before 2019, some states had special status and some states had not any kind of status. And there are small units also in our country. There are small units which enjoy little power. Let me unfold that. As you all know, before 2019, Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir was a state of India, but it had a special status. It had some special status. All the rules and laws made by Indian Constitution were not applicable to Jammu and Kashmir. There is a history behind this, because Jammu and Kashmir king was not ready to include into Indian Union. At the time, to console him and to convince him, the leaders of our country, such as Jawaharlal Nehru and many other leaders, gave some special status to Jammu and Kashmir state to include into Indian Union. But no other states in India had that kind of special status, and no other states in India were allowed to settle into Kashmir, and there were no many other powers. But Kashmiri people could come and they can buy any property in any other states. They can settle anywhere in the country. But this status was not given to any other states. So here you can understand this was the special status which was given to Jammu and Kashmir. But as we all know, last year there was an amendment done to Article number 370 by Union government with the leadership of Amit Shah and Narendra Modi. And according to the abolition of 370 article, today Jammu Kashmir is also one of the normal state of India. And especially it is not a state today. Both Jammu and Kashmir have become union territories of our country. Before it was a state. But today Jammu and Kashmir have no any special status. They also enjoy the same power which will be enjoyed by all the other states in our country. And apart from all these things, there are some units in our country such as Chandigarh, Lakshadweep, and the capital city of our country, that is Delhi, which are called union territories. These union territories are smaller than states. So they are not called states. They enjoy little power. They are given little power, and they will be run by the union government only. Laws relates to these all union territories will be done by union government. Union government rule all these union territories such as Delhi, Chandigarh, Lakshadweep. There are many other union territories in India such as Nagar Haveli, Andaman Nicobar, Diu Daman and Puducherry or Pondicherry. And today we have 28 states and 9 union territories. Before this we had 29 states and 7 union territories. And according to the abolition of 370 article, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh became new union territories of India. So 9 union territories and 28 states are there in India today. So the power sharing arrangement done, which is done by the Indian government or the Indian Constitution, shows that this is the basic structure of the Constitution. The power sharing arrangement of 2 different levels of government and 3 different levels of government of our country is the basic structure of Indian Constitution, which shows the features of federalism, which shows the features of a federal system in our country. But it is not easy for any state government or union government to change this power sharing arrangement. If they want to change, if they want to bring new laws for this power sharing arrangement, it is not very easily possible. Here they must get consent from the Parliament cannot alone take the decision. Parliament should get the consent from both the houses such as Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and there must be 2/3 majority. At the same time, the Parliament must get the consent from at least half of the total states. Half of the total states should give their consent to change any law and to change power sharing arrangement. So this is what we can see, the power sharing arrangement done by the Indian Constitution in India. And at the same time, if there are any quarrels and disputes, issues between the union government and the state government and other tiers of government, that will be looked after by the high courts of the states as well as the Supreme Court of our country. And here, judiciary plays a very, very important role in solving the problems between each tiers of government. This is all about the history of Indian federalism and what makes India a federal country. Thank you for watching my video. If you want to watch my previous videos, please go to my channel playlist and you can get them. Please subscribe my channel, press the bell icon so that you can get notification for my upcoming videos, and please share this video to other WhatsApp groups and in your Facebook account so that all the other students can get the benefit of this video. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.